Radio.com.
KCAA.
Working in the margins. Dealing with our challenges, assessing needs, and finding solutions. Short-term, mid-range, and long-term. Solutions can find us working in the margins. Today's world is a tough baseline. It's more difficult than ever to just exist or get by. And it's not getting any easier. Moving forward in today's world has become both an art and a science. Food, clothing, temporary shelter, long-term housing, short-term jobs, temporary employment, or long-range careers. It all takes some help and finesse. Not everyone can do it. It's an art and a science. And let's face it, not everyone is a scientist. Some people need more help than others. The basics like reliable transportation, internet, laundry, a regular shower, even water, those basics we all take for granted. Electricity, these are the challenges of those caught in the net. Are homeless, unhoused, housing challenged, living in the margins. People of all ages, young, middle-aged, senior citizens, entire families, male, female, all reasons and all walks of life. Anyone can find themselves living in the margins. Homelessness and the challenges that go with it are not going away, and we can't ignore them. It's just too expensive. We've got to do better. Take the next step forward. Tune in now and listen to Working in the Margins.
Hello, San Bernardino, Inland Empire. This is Shazette with Family Assistance Program. Welcome to Working in the Margins. This is the Family Assistance Weekly Radio podcast show. We come to you from KCAA 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and we are taping here from studios at Teamsters Local 1932 here in downtown San Bernardino. We are on Sierra and 4th in the Kamek building. So a little history about my history with the Teamsters. Somebody asked me about a week or so ago about my relationship with the Teamsters or unions, and they're like, "Oh, you're pro-union." Yes, I am. I am. I was with United Food and Commercial Workers in my early career, in my 30s. I gave my 30s to United Food and Commercial Workers, and it was the best learning experience for advocacy that I have ever had. I feel once union, always union. I'm just always going to believe in the rights of people to work and make a decent living and livable wage and take care of their families without having to work 5, 6, 7 jobs, So I've known some of these folks here at Teamsters for well over 20 years. So that's good. And I still, they still welcome me, and now I'm here in this iteration with the radio show and Family Assistance, and hopefully we're going to be doing some partnering up with the Teamsters on some trainings with the training center. They have a wonderful training center here run by Becky Leppins, and we're excited about that. So I am so excited. First of all, happy Thursday, community. It's been kind of nice weather off and on. Today is nice, so sun's out, guns out. And I wanted to implore you all, get outside, go out, look around, take a walk. It's great out there. When the weather's great, get out there and do some self-care. It's important right now. Now we're going to talk about why it's real important right now. It's always important, but why it's really important right now. But today, this show has been in a long time coming. I'm going to tell you, and y'all going to be jealous of this next conversation. But you get to have it forever on YouTube, and you can fast forward and rewind and listen to it over and over again. I have been trying to get this young lady here for a minute, and now all the stars aligned finally, and I'm so happy. Tyrese Crawford, she's with San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools. And this is the Transforming Lives Through Education edition. So we're going to talk about kids and education. And she's with the San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools. And we're going to meet her, and we're going to talk about some of the things that are going on. So County of San Bernardino Inland Empire, say hello to Miss Tyrese Crawford. Hi, Miss Tyrese. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having
I'm
me.
so happy. We're going to pull your mic a little closer because I want to make sure that we hear every word. We don't want anybody to miss anything, but if you do, just rewind and play it again. So tell me, Miss Crawford, I know about you, but I'm new at getting to know who you are and what you do in this role, though I've known people in this role before. But you tell me about your role, what you're doing at San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools.
Well, what I get to do under Superintendent Ted Alejandre, and in our Innovation and Engagement branch under Dr. Donald English, is I get to make sure that everyone is aware of the rights that our homeless or our youth that are experiencing homelessness, because we don't want to just identify them as homeless youth, because they're so much more than just homeless.
Exactly.
They bring so much to the table.
Right.
But
not who they are, it is what they are experiencing right now.
Exactly. And so we get to make sure that teachers, bus drivers, anyone in education, anyone having to engage our youth that are experiencing homelessness, they understand the rights. They understand how to identify youth that are experiencing homelessness and how to support them.
Okay.
So right now we have over 36,000 youth that are experiencing homelessness. And we know that that is a low number.
Right.
Because it's underreported. Sometimes people don't want to tell you what's going on. Sometimes someone hasn't built that relationship with them.
Tyrese, is that number based upon families that are like staying with other families, couch surfing? Is it under the McKinney-Vento definition of homeless? That's a lot. That's a big number, community. That's 30. That's a lot of people. A lot of
babies.
Yes, a lot of kids.
Yes. So that actually entails both. It includes both the HUD definition as well as the McKinney-Vento definition.
Okay.
And so that's why we need to educate individuals, because sometimes staff might think, well, they're living with someone.
Right.
But that still qualifies them to receive services and support.
Right.
And so we want to make sure that anyone who is engaging with our youth, they understand that our main goal is to connect them to resources.
Right.
Because if we can prevent one youth from being homeless, then we can prevent an adult from being homeless.
That's a big job for you. That's a lot of responsibility.
Well, I say it's a passion.
Yeah.
It really is a passion. I was just telling one of our peer support associates, when I was younger, people would say, well, if you find something you love to do, you never work a day in your life.
Right.
And I'm like, I like what I do, but I'm still working. But I will tell you, at this position, I feel like it really is a calling, and I really feel like I get to do this.
And
it's
that's what we need to hear from our providers, from our service providers, and the folks that are working, that this is a mission for them, it's a calling for them, because these kids are our future.
Yes.
These kids are our future, and I'm so worried about them, because the government is already, they're trying to pick them off. They don't even want to educate them. They don't want to offer services for education. And the Department of Education, what they do is mainly offer services for marginalized community kids.
Yes.
People, families that are, domestic violence, need special attention, special services, accommodations. And these kids still need the services. Nothing's going to change. What's going to happen if we can't get them the services that they need?
Well, I just say we have to continue to partner with individuals such as Assemblymember James C. Ramos, Joe Baca.
Yes.
They are huge proponents of making sure that our kiddos have resources. So I think right now, if you have been sitting on the sidelines, now's the time for us to get active. We really have to use our voice, and we have to use it in a big way. And the other thing is, our kiddos are speaking up now.
Yes.
And so I was at a listening session, and it was powerful.
Yes.
Kids will tell you what they need. Sometimes they'll tell us things that we never even thought of.
I've been to a few. They're heartbreaking sometimes. I just feel, oh my God, we've let these children down.
Yes.
But I know you were able to go to, we had a listening session, and you were able to go and talk to some of our kiddos.
Listen.
To listen.
I literally sat on my hands, and I was able to listen, and I carry those stories with me as my feet hit the ground in the morning.
Yeah, I know. You can't not hear it and not do anything. you know?
Right.
Tell me what motivated you to get involved in San Bernardino County Superintendent School?
Well, I think it's a calling. It's something that I was born to do. I was built for this. But their mission, transforming lives through education, that is what drew me to
I love that too.
county schools.
Yeah.
Before coming to San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools, I was with Chaffee Joint Union High School District as a social studies teacher.
Okay.
And so life happened, and I was looking somewhere else. And just their motto, their mission, it just drew me here. Because as a young girl growing up in the projects of Detroit, Michigan, school was my solace. School was my happy place.
Right.
And that's where I was built up. Like home was hell, if I could say that word.
Yes, you can.
But when I went to school, there were people who loved on me and cared for me. And so as I was growing up, I don't think I really realized how powerful that was.
Right.
Until I became a teacher,
right,
and then a principal, and I did the same things that those people did for me.
Right.
And so as a principal and a teacher at an alternative school setting, we got the kids that didn't necessarily make it at the comprehensive high school.
Right.
So they came to us hungry, ready to fight,
expel. Among those kids,
and that's what we had to pull out of them. We pulled it out of them via loving them, feeding them, listening to them.
They need a different type of intervention.
Yes.
Motivation. Not an intervention. A motivation. They needed different. My son, I felt like he was that kid, and I pulled him out of public school and put him in a performing arts school because that's what he wanted to do, and he thrived and flourished. And I said, this is what we need. We need alternatives.
Yes. And so under our tutelage, like all of our staff there who understands the importance of relationships and basic needs, they always say Maslow's before Bloom's.
Yes.
And so these kids now, they were like expelled and fighting. Now you have some that became welders.
Right.
They actually became gainfully employed.
Yes.
They're deciding now I want to be an attorney.
I know.
Because guess what? We had some that started a chess club, all kinds of things. So they are geniuses. And so the same thing with our youth that are experiencing homelessness right now. They are so full of compassion. At that listening session, I heard youth talking about how some of the biggest barriers were when they would come to some sort of institution, like maybe a shelter or something, and the adults might have a bad attitude.
Yeah.
But they didn't just say, they have a bad attitude. They were really trying to understand.
Right.
They were saying, well, I understand that they have things going on in their lives. They have different things going on. So the compassion that the youth had. Yes. And then they were coming up with solutions, like, just telling us, like, what are some of the things that they need. I'm hopeful for
that, though. I'm really hopeful that these that the kids coming up today, keep their compassion.
Yes. These are older kids. They were like in their 20s, some of them, 18, 19, 20s.
Tay age, 18 to 24.
Yes. And so I believe they will. And so one of the things that I am very proud of that we get to do at the county is that we have peer support associates.
Right.
And so those are young people with lived experiences.
Awesome.
And so they come and they work with us, and then our whole team, we just mentor them.
Right.
We just love on them.
And they can tell you what they need.
Yes. And so they go out and they talk to other kids, other youth.
I know.
Other staff, because the thing is sometimes staff have this misconception of what a youth experiencing homelessness might look like.
We old heads. Yes, I say it all the time. Yes. I'm not afraid. I'm proud of being an old head, first of all, because, I got here, it took a lot, and I'm surviving, but I'm not a mentor anymore. I'm not in my mentoring stage. I don't want to mentor adults. I'm just past that, but the kids need mentoring.
Yes.
But I feel I'm still out of that age range. I'm thinking like my son is in his early 30s, that maybe he's, and I know he does. He was a peer counselor and things like that.
Nice.
But that's the age. Those are the ones we need, the folks we need to be working with to talk back to the younger group. I know, because they hear me, Tyrese, sometimes, and they're like, "How old are you?" And I'm like, I know, but those things don't work
right
anymore. We have to unlearn some things on how we communicated,
Mm-hmm.
how we expressed. Some kids, we have to love them different.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And encourage them different.
Yes.
How do you measure the impact and some of the outcomes of the schools?
Well, we have an entire team, small team, but we have an entire team.
Small but mighty.
Yes, small but mighty. And so we have Shawnee Perry, who has
Yes.
been there for a long time, and Daisy Esparza, who's been there for a while. And then we also have Stacy Dimert, who's been there. And so the way that we measure success is we just have to be out there in the field. We have to literally hear what the youth are saying. We have a liaison on every single school site, and these are liaisons. Most of them, they have a day job. And so this is their passion. So, but their goal is to make sure that youth understand what resources are available to them.
Right.
And so we have to keep the conversations open. We do surveys just to receive feedback. We receive feedback from the youth. And so as long as we're connecting youth to resources, and now it's not even just youth, we're connecting families, because now we have whole families living in cars right now, more than I've ever seen in my life.
You're right.
And so
there is more.
And so just making sure that when people come through our door, we have resources to connect them to. That is one of the ways that we know we're doing what we're supposed to do.
That's awesome.
Now, we also want to empower our youth. So we take youth every single year to Sacramento.
Awesome.
So we teach them about policy making. We teach them how to advocate for themselves. They just came back in March. It was a beautiful trip. I didn't get a chance to go, but I've gone every year before I even started this position in June. And then this year I was sick. And so it was the first time that I was going to go in this position. But
do it again.
We will. A
Yes,
do-over.
do it again.
Yes. And so, but I was able to be a part of the planning to make sure everything went smoothly, make sure that, we had the sound bowls there because I had seen that somewhere, and the kiddos loved it.
It's
very
amazing.
Beneficial.
It is.
Stacy Dimert was able to do like some wellness things. And that's why when you asked me about how we can partner, I was talking about, just letting kids hang out, because during our session, I said, we don't want to burn the kiddos out. And so what the team did, and they came up with this on their own, they did like some wellness. Stacy did like walks with them. She did stretches with them. She did meditation with them. And then they just literally just stayed in a room. And they're in their conference room. They weren't like running out. They stayed there, and they were drawing, and they were just doing things. And then when they found out our team was having another session, they were like, oh, I'm just staying here. Because guess what? They just want to be seen and heard. That's it. They want to feel the love.
That's everybody.
And they feel it when they are seen and heard.
That's everybody. I want to be seen and heard. So I think most of us, especially when we are feeling unheard and unseen, and we see things happening around us, and I'm like, y'all not listening.
Yes.
Y'all not listening.
Listen, Linda.
I don't want to. Don't want to be where I'm just, telling anybody what to do.
Right.
And so I've always felt it was important to teach people how to advocate for themselves, and to, I used to do that kind of work when I was in the state senate. We would take the kids up. We had a Young Senators program, and we would teach them those things. I love those programs because it opened up you may not like politics, but politics affects every corner of your life.
Yeah. And the youth that go, they are forever transformed.
Yes.
They see things totally differently.
Because that's knowledge and wisdom that you get in your head, and they can't take it from you.
Right, exactly. And then they have politicians who really see them, and they see the potential in them.
Yes.
And so it does something for our young people.
It does.
When they see somebody in a suit and a tie, and they're like, all right, well, where are you? What are you doing? And oh my goodness, now that you put it that way, we're going to do something about that.
Yes.
It's a powerful event.
It's we used to do a workshop in the Senate called How to Write a Bill.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
wow.
I want to bring that back.
Please.
Because some of these kids have ideas about things that, I mean, some of them were inventions.
Wow.
Like how to make life easier for, everyday folks. And
Nice.
I'm like, those are the kids. That's who I want to hear from. Those are the
Yes.
kids I want to hear from.
Wow.
So maybe we can work on something, a workshop. Maybe Mr. Ramos, Assemblymember Ramos, could help us.
He
So
would
there's,
be awesome.
oh,
to do
he's
that.
our
He would
champion.
be.
James, he's our champion.
Yeah, he just did a women's empowerment where he honored women, and I just love that he is about family,
Yes.
honoring tradition
Yes.
and ancestors, but he's really about building up youth.
Yes.
And so every year he is like our main sponsor to help getting backpacks out to youth.
Yes.
He understands the importance of that. He understands the importance of food, so he helps us
Yes.
with our turkey drive.
He has been a huge proponent
yes.
for us.
Yes, his team is amazing.
That women's empowerment, our own, very own Abel, Eunice Abel,
Yes.
Miss Eunice, was honored as the Woman of the Year by
Yes.
Mr. Ramos.
Yes.
And we, I feel, gosh, that I've known him and his family for a long time.
Wow.
But they're still out here doing it. Him and his sister Elena, they still out here doing the stuff.
Yes.
And he shows up. He's responsive. I know his heart's in the right place. So we just gonna keep rocking with him because he
Wow.
wants to rock with us.
Yes.
And right now we need that type of support.
Yes, and his sister Elena was honored as well. She is more quiet and behind the scenes,
She
but
is.
she is powerful and she
She
does
is.
a lot. She does
Miss
a lot for
Matthews.
communities.
She's a dear.
Yes.
She's been in this community a long time. I always age myself because I'm like, man, I knew these kids, these folks when they was in, in their youth, and look how far they've come, but it's always good to keep those folks in your corner.
Yes.
Keep partnering. It helps leverage, dollars,
Yes.
programs. We are in great need of housing.
Yes. Yep.
I don't know, homelessness is like, the solution is right in the name. We need to get folks housed. You already said how many kids out there that you guys have numbered that are homeless. What is your outcome for getting them into housing? Is it, how hard is it?
So our goal, our primary focus is education. And so, of course, because we are working with youth that are experiencing homelessness, we get to sit on like the COC, we get to network with different individuals. And so that is something that I do kind of like as an amendment to my position.
Yeah.
Yes. And so the goal is to hear from the youth. The goal is to continuing leveraging the community partnerships that we have so that we can support others that are doing that work.
Okay.
But also to be aware of what's going on
Yes.
so that when we are going into the schools, we have that context that we can share with individuals that don't
Right.
necessarily understand.
Right.
And not only that, even looking at our youth that are unhoused or unaccompanied, we also have my partner, Paul Durham, who works with foster youth. And so right now in this county, we have over 7,500 youth that are in the foster care system. And so it's a lot going on with our young people. But we're taking them, we're not going to Sacramento, we have a foster ed summit.
Okay.
And so we're doing the same things with them because,
Okay.
there are some egregious things that go on. There are some good things that go on, but there are some other things. So
Yeah.
we're working to empower.
We usually hear the other things.
Yes,
Or they come
yes.
to us because of the other things.
Yes, yes. So we're working to empower them as well.
That's awesome. I want to hear about that when you get ready to do it.
Okay.
Oh
okay.
boy, I could go on and on, right? Let's take a break, Eric. San Bernardino, we're gonna be right back.
KCAA. Tahibo Tea Club's original Pure Pau Diarco Super Tea helps build red corpuscles in the blood, which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer dies in oxygen. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps build the immune system, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. The tea is also organic and naturally caffeine-free. A 1-pound package of tea is $49.95, which includes shipping. To order, please visit TahiboTeaClub.com. Tahibo is spelled T like Tom, A-H-E-E, B like boy, O, then continue with the word tea, and then the word club. The complete website is TahiboTeaClub.com. Or call us at 818-610-8088, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. That's 818-610-8088, TahiboTeaClub.com.
This program sponsored in part by Absolute Custom Painting. Custom painting you can trust. It's time to clean up and spiff up your home and add some curb appeal to your life. Absolute Custom Painting covers the whole Inland Empire with a brighter shade of color. No job is too small, and perfection is their goal. Absolute Custom Paint specializes in affordable residential paint makeovers. For a no-cost estimate and to dream a little, call 951-797-0508. That's 951-797-0508. For Absolute Custom Painting, ask about their seasonal paint specials where you can save money. They're proud to make our world and communities more bright, colorful, and clean. Absolute Custom Painting with painters you can trust. Licensed, bonded, and insured. California Contractor Number 808931. It's going to be big. The 6th Annual Teamsters Local 1932 Spring Fling Car Show and Cruise, coming Saturday, April 12th. The Teamsters take over downtown San Bernardino at 4th and Sierra Way with row after row of beautiful cars, classic cars, roadsters, you name it. It all takes place next to the Teamsters headquarters. Come see Teamsters Thunder, SoCal Teamsters Car Club, and your favorite Teamsters, Teamsters 1932. The cruising starts at 9 a.m. and goes to 3 p.m. on March 12th. Cool prizes, raffles, vendors, trophies, music, and great food. No charge or admission for the entire community. You can register your cars free too at Teamsters1932.org. That's Teamsters1932.org. For more info, call Lucky at 909-967-6760 and get ready to cruise in downtown San Bernardino.
KCAA.
Hello, San Bernardino. This is Shazad. We're working in the margins. Welcome back. We are on KCAA, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM. And you can find us on YouTube at KCAA TV. This drops down into like a little podcast, so you'll be able to find the video on YouTube after my Eric, engineer extraordinaire, gets it all loaded up. And thank you, community, for tuning in last week. It was a really, really good turnout. I hope you learned something from and got some resources. And it was so fun having my friend Kim Calvin on. And it's I love this show because I get to kind of like have girlfriend talks. I bring folks that I'm like, I really want to be friends with you, so I'm just going to invite you on my show. So so I have made some really good girlfriends, and some wonderful people have been on here, male and female. And that hasn't stopped now. I have Miss Tyrese Crawford here from the San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools. She's one of the principals there. There's a program that you have. It's called PLC. What does that mean?
So I was a principal.
Ooh. Did you level up?
Yes.
All right, now let's talk about the level up.
Well, I will tell you, I do miss being on the site with the kiddos, but I love working as the coordinator for homeless youth education.
Okay, coordinator for homeless youth. That's such a big job.
And so when you were talking earlier about just some of the things that we're doing, We are in difficult times right now, and so funding is a concern.
Yes.
I know that my big boss, Ted Alejandre, he is all about equity and making sure that our youth are taken care of, and so I know we're going to be fine. However, I also believe that things happen. They
do. Unforeseen.
They just work out. They always work out. And so we've been working, of course, with James Ramos, Assembly Member James Ramos, Joe Baca. But also we've had some other great partnerships. And today we've had a partnership for a while with Billy Mack from Victorville Motors.
Oh, okay.
And so today he just so happened to say, I want to help you move your mountain.
Oh,
and
I
so
love that. I love when people say that.
Isn't that amazing? Like
Yes.
I actually have chills just thinking about it
Yes.
because I know right now this is the time for us to make sure that we do something that's sustainable
Yes.
Regarding youth that are
Yes.
experiencing homelessness.
Yes.
And I believe that working with him and the rest of our community partners and anybody else out there who might want to support.
Awesome. Let's go.
Because sometimes we have like things. It could be hygiene kits. It could be
Yes.
clothing, gently used clothing. It could be, anything. I believe that we're really going to make a difference for our youth.
Yes.
Starting with hearing from our youth so that
Yes.
we understand what they need. We're not just telling them what they need and what we're just going to
Exactly.
do for them, but we're going to really...
Because we don't know. We don't know what they need.
Exactly. And hearing from them, we need to empower them.
We think we know
Mm-hmm.
because we think that everybody needs the same thing, but that's
Right.
not true.
Right. So I'm excited about what's going to happen.
I'm
over the next few
excited
months.
too. I have a dream, and it's been a dream for a really long time, like years, that homeless youth, if they were like homeless in their cars with families, because that's what we find,
Right, yes.
that there were safe lots for folks to park,
Right.
homeless near schools.
Mm-hmm. Wow. There has been someone that has done that before.
Yeah, near schools. So, if you're enrolled in that school and you can show proof that you're enrolled in that school, and then, and you're within, a mile, half a mile or less. I say half a mile or less because you can walk a half a mile. But it's still long. I don't know if I could walk a half a mile. But something so that the families could, stay near the schools.
And our Chief of Equity and Access, Dr. Sharina Betters.
Who I'm going to get to meet soon.
You
Miss
will get to
Sharina
meet her.
Betters.
She will have everybody enthralled, let me tell you. Youth experiencing homelessness, it is an issue of equity. And so my dream is that no kid would have to live in their car.
I know.
No mother will have to live in their car. And we are America. We have the resources.
I know.
We just have to figure out how do we galvanize those resources so
I know.
that we can make sure that every kid has a place to sleep.
My coworker Carly says we have the money, we
Yes.
just don't have the people.
Right.
We need to get more of the people to come through and navigate. We just don't have. Money is not an issue sometimes. It's we have grants and things like that, but it's just finding the people to navigate. And to care enough to think that this is a problem. A kid being homeless in a car with their family
Right.
and trying to go to school is a problem.
Right. And that's why I say we have to start with heightening awareness because I think a lot of times people don't believe. It's like our kids are dealing with things that no adult should have to deal with.
I know I couldn't. I would feel so. I don't want to say spoiled because I had a decent life. My parents both worked and we went to school and we didn't live out of a car. But I know the challenges of both of my brothers struggle with school. The challenges that some school education proposes to some students. They could have ADHD, they could have dyslexia, they could have all those things, normal, regular things.
Right.
I cannot imagine being homeless.
Right. Now, that's an extreme case. So let's think about the McKinney-Vento definition of homelessness. So these are individuals that might be doubled up, tripled up. Sometimes they're living maybe, I've seen where 15 people have lived in a 2-bedroom apartment with 1 bathroom.
Yes.
And so
Somebody not getting a shower that day.
Or a bed. They're
Right.
sleeping on the floor. They have people crawling over them, people
Right.
in and out. And then they have to get up and come to school the next day. And so then you're greeted with where have you been? Or a frown or a mad face. And so that's one of the reasons why we have to educate all of our teacher, staff.
The grown folks.
Yes, exactly. Because they need to understand. Like sometimes just getting to school was a challenge.
Just getting there.
Yes, when I was a principal, you had kids who would get jumped on the way to school.
I know.
Literally jumped.
But
But they would still make it back to school. They would still make it because that
I
was their
know.
safe space. And so
They get bullied because, sometimes they
yeah.
don't have access to toiletries or,
Yes.
cleaning up. And so now you're getting bullied for a condition that you really didn't have any control over.
Right.
'Cause, it's heartbreaking sometimes what kids do to kids.
Right. And so that's one of the things that, and James Ramos honored Pat Williams from Angel's Closet. And so she is a big proponent of making sure that youth have clothes. And so we work with her and we work with backpacks so they can put the clothing
That's
in the
good.
backpack. And it really is a huge need,
Do they still have the programs where they send the kids home with food for the weekend?
Yes,
The backpack.
especially after COVID, people
Yeah.
really realized that there was a big need. So
Some
yes,
kids weren't even eating unless they was eating at school.
exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Some things just don't change.
Yeah.
We still need those resources.
Yeah.
How are you hanging in there with this, all these changes? How do you stay positive and keep your folks positive,
So I don't get to not be positive. I have to be positive. We have people that are dealing with so many different situations, not being able to shower, not understanding how to read or fill out paperwork because they don't know how to read, trying to get kids to 3 different schools after sleeping in a car. So my goal is to build capacity of my team to make sure, they're already amazing.
Yes.
So I just have to figure out where can I build a capacity. So
Right.
they tell me their goals and then I work with them to fulfill those goals. But also to remember that we are in a customer service business.
Yes.
So we are all about customer service.
Yep, service oriented.
Yes, we're service oriented, and so we don't get to have bad attitudes. And if we
I
do,
know.
you need to, tag me in.
I'm
you go
telling
take
you.
a break or whatever you need to do.
I tag people in all the time.
Yes.
Sometimes it's just,
Yes, but also just seeing what we get to do.
Yeah.
When we see a young person who receives a scholarship last year through our Gangs and Drugs Task Force and Children Deserve Success programs, we were able to honor 92 students with scholarships.
Amen.
And I will tell you, when kids see that money, and then they believe that somebody else believes in them.
Right.
Now you have a kid who has been struggling in school, who has been homeless sometimes, and now they're thinking, I think I can go to college.
I think so.
And they're
Of
going to be the
course you
first.
can.
They sometimes, like, we started doing our county graduation, and so you have kids who they were the first ones in their
First
family to
first
graduate from high
generation.
school, and now because
Ooh,
of the
from high
scholarships,
school.
now they're able to move on and go on to high school, to college as well.
Isn't that just wonderful?
Yes, it
the
is.
work that,
It is.
seeing the fruit of your labor.
Yes, and then we also have another program. We have school-based mentoring because the one
Okay.
thing that I've learned as a teacher and a principal, they will give you all these different resources, like, another computer, a bigger, better computer, or another program. But our kids need people.
Yes.
They need people. And so when we have those one-on-one mentors, which I'm so super excited about, because Billy Mack from Victorville Motors, he said he has volunteers who are
Let's
begging
go.
to mentor. And
That's
I
Billy
know,
Mack, Victorville Motors.
yes, and so
Okay.
I know that when a kid has somebody one-on-one, that's where you get the biggest bang for your buck.
When I have somebody one-on-one,
Yes.
and
Yes.
everybody knows on here, I'm in therapy. I stay in therapy because
Yes.
it's enough to be in therapy about out here. And having somebody on your side, I have people, I got a kid and a mate, but having somebody on your side who doesn't have to be, he chooses to, this well, he's getting paid, I guess, but it means that you're not doing this by yourself.
Right, exactly.
That you're not alone. That
Exactly.
you have somebody else that was paying attention to.
Yes.
And I think that's the most important thing because, like you said earlier, people just want to be seen and heard.
Yes.
And I think a lot of the times our homeless populations disappear back into the greenery.
Mm.
You know, Folks don't want to see them, first of all. And then, if you're not moving in the mainstream, you're sometimes labeled an outcast.
Right. That is true.
That
is true.
But I hope, number one, that you get to stay and do this for a very, very long time, as long as you want to.
Thank you.
Because we need people like you. I'm looking forward to working with you through Family Assistance Program, because we have youth.
Yes.
And we right now need to leverage
yes.
a lot of resources, because a lot of our resources are getting reduced. I'm going to talk about something, community, that happened. I really try not to get political. I'm not, but politics is everywhere, whether you believe in it or not. But this is not really, this is more than political. This goes to the root of who we are as a people, as a country, as a nation. We are a compassionate people. We want to take care of people.
Right.
Majority of us, I think we do. I think there's some outliers that are just like, they're all for themselves. But the majority, I feel, people want to take care of people. We have compassion, empathy. I don't think anybody voted or signed up for this federal government to cut funding, contracts, employees from programs that directly affect children, or domestic violence patients or survivors, domestic violence, folks that are fleeing domestic violence, victims of crime, sexual crime. And the HHS department, Health and Human Services, Health and Human Services was drastically cut. After their director was put on leave, they cut contracts and funding that serve youth, our most marginalized youth.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody was expecting this.
I don't think so either.
I just don't.
Well, let me just say, I don't think anyone was expecting it, but it was said this is what's going to be done. So
we have warning.
I like what Maya Angelou says. If a person shows you who they are, believe them. Believe them. And so I am just very honored that I work for a boss who is willing to stand on business.
Me too.
And so this is why it's super important for our youth to understand the power of voting and being involved, because when the stuff hits the fan, you want somebody that's going to stand on business. They're not just going to go a certain way because that's the way the wind is blowing, or I need to stay under the radar.
Oh, it's easier to capitulate.
Exactly. Our boss has said we're going to always do what's best for kids.
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
And so when you have people who are signing and they're taking names out and words out because they don't want to be a target, this is why it's important to vote.
I know.
This is why it's extremely important to vote. And so I'm just honored that, you know what, we have a good framework.
Yes.
We have a good foundation. And so we just got to fight.
That's what I say.
And with our voice. When I say fight, I mean our voice, our vote, our action, our meeting. Bodies. We have to show up.
We got to be brave.
There. Yes.
And
it does. And why does it have to be brave? Why do we have to be brave? Because now we have people who really don't give a what about being PC.
Exactly.
They don't really care about.
They say what they want.
Exactly. They don't care what the rules are. They don't care about any of that. So you do have to be brave. Before you thought you had some semblance of protection, but that has all gone by the wayside. Like even now, like we have families literally who are not coming to school. They're not sending their kids to school, and people want us to give like these little statements. And I'm like, if it were me, I wouldn't trust that this person is going to follow any rules.
I know.
So we have to do something.
We have current legislation, Inland Empire, right now, coming through Sacramento, through the houses, through the legislature, that are particularly focused on protections, increasing protections. And one of those is protections from ICE being able to come into schools.
Wow. Yeah.
And so there's a lot of conversations going on around that, or coming into shelters. But you're right. People aren't showing up. There's food in the fields that is just rotting because folks are afraid. Our immigrant populations, our immigrant neighbors, they're afraid. You know, they're afraid that somebody's gonna find out they homeless in the car at the school.
Yes, yes. Or they're afraid to leave home because maybe they're afraid to leave home because if I go to school, what if I come back home and my mom's not there?
And they
do
uncle
that. Is not there.
And that's happening.
Yes, it is.
They're getting the parents at home after the kids go to school. Kids are getting out of school. I don't know what. I listened to urban radio, Urban View, things like that. I listened to kind of radical, not radical, just kind of, you know, they want to advocate. They're saying, you know, this is what we need to do. This is what we need to do. And I think that people are afraid of being targeted because there's somebody running around in Washington saying, I can get all your data and I can pinpoint. But we got to be brave. We cannot let that stop us because we have to advocate for these kids. We have to teach them to advocate. And if we are sitting back, that's what they're seeing.
Right.
They're not seeing anybody fight for them.
Exactly.
So it's been I have had an awesome experience with family assistance and how we advocate around youth programs and youth. It's reinvigorated my commitment to this generation that's coming up behind us. I think I was joking with my kid the other day, and I said, I think I'm looking for y'all to come do something because I'm ready to retire.
Wow.
I feel like the closer I get to it, the more important it becomes to make sure that we're leaving things to these kids that they can, you know, continue and advocate around, you know. How do you advocate?
So empowerment is key for me. I'm always going to be a teacher at heart, no matter what. I'm always a teacher. So really just equipping individuals with knowledge, helping them understand stories because data is important, but understanding the stories of kids that are living with 15 people in 1 or 2 bedrooms, that is important. Not necessarily fighting someone who believes that they are the McKinney-Vento police and they need to figure out whether a kiddo is really homeless or not, but helping them understand that it looks different.
It looks
like
different.
You cannot just tell by looking at somebody that they are homeless. And so education, equipping individuals with knowledge and understanding the stories, that becomes really important. I think we can never educate too much.
We need to start letting more and more people know how these executive orders and things are actually realistically. We in California, y'all. I was talking to Tyrese and I said, we in California, y'all, we're always supposed to do better.
Yes.
We're always, you know, but there's only so much we can do, you know, at one time when it seems like everything is being impacted, you know, but we do have to keep talking and keep it out there that these are the things that are being affected. These are the things that are being cut and destroyed, and this is how it's going to affect your family and your children.
And I will just say it's pretty bad, but it's an amazing opportunity for us to say, look, we all need to get up and do something.
All of us.
We really need to work together. The youth, the seniors, the middle-aged
Yes.
people, we all have to band together, and we need to
We do.
stand on business, as the young people say.
Yes, that's what
We
they say.
have to.
Stand on business. I said that's what I'm gonna try to do. I'm gonna try to stand on business. Tyrese, thank you so much for coming
Thank you.
today. It's been wonderful.
It has been a pleasure.
Having a conversation with you. I could talk to you forever, especially about
Well, let's
our
go eat.
youth. Yeah.
Go talk
You
over
know,
lunch.
we could go on and on because the need is great. The responsibility is ours,
Yes, it is.
and we want to make sure that our community knows out there that we need them to come along with us to help serve this, this population, this community, our marginalized families. So I want to wrap up, community, about some of the difficulties that are coming through, and I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna share this because you may not think it's affected you directly yet. You may not have been hit, or you may not be seeing changes because maybe you don't work in the area of kids or homeless people, or maybe you're a machinist and you go to work every day. We need everybody to advocate. We need everybody, no matter what you do, whether it affects you or not, because eventually it will.
Yes.
Eventually it will. And we're trying to get the message out there. I don't want to be like fatalistic and, and all that. And, I try really not to. And like you said, Tyrese, it is an awesome opportunity for us to be able to activate, learn history, keep learning history, keep reading. They're trying to take it, but you'll learn a lot of lessons. I've learned a lot of lessons by reading history because we've done this before.
Yes.
We've been here before,
Yes.
people, and we've survived. So read. And again, I'll tell you, like I tell you every week, be careful what you read, follow the links, make sure that you're not sending out or sharing or passing along bad links, but find somebody that you can trust, that you get your news and your information from. I like kind of the government agencies that are still exist and allowed to share the information. So that's what I want you to do, community. I want you to educate yourselves and then educate others, and we'll get through this. We're gonna come out on the other side. They weren't wrong when they said it was gonna hurt a little bit first, but it's hurting a lot. So I want to encourage you, community. I'm going to keep coming to you and talking to you about being encouraged and empowered, and to be brave, and to accept some of these challenges as opportunities. So thank you again, Tyrese. It's been awesome. Thank you, Eric, engineer extraordinaire, and San Bernardino. I will see you next week.
NBC News on KCAA Loma